Great. Hello and welcome to the CFL podcast. I'm your host, Matt, today as always. And this is the start of hopefully mini where we're going to have some guests on. We're going to do coaches. We're going to have interviews with coaches, getting to know them better. Also, too, we're going to be interviewing members. Inside these walls, we have story after story after story of people who have made changes for better. This week with us, I have Rachel Bhan here. Go ahead and say hi, Rachel.
Hi.
She is also our member of the month for January, so it was a perfect time to kind of share her story, share what her journey has been through and with us here at CFL, and kind of highlight her as a member of the month. So there's also some cool other facts about her on the website. If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out on the blog. You can get to know Rachel a little bit better. But today we're going to highlight her story, her journey through weight loss. When we had first started here, Rachel, I was kind of looking through your notes and stuff like that, kind of hearing your story. She was with us right when we first started. For some of you guys that don't know, we originally purchased CrossFit. That was a gym that we had come in and purchased in 2013. I took it over as CFL. Rachel has been with us the whole time. Her and her husband, Ashish, have been with us the whole time. And this is kind of be her journey. I think there's a lot to be gained from this, especially about staying committed to habit changes and doing what's right for your specific situation. We all know everybody's a little bit different. So this will be her story. Right, Rachel? And
right.
So what we'll do here is I'm going to kick it off. I have her notes up. She used to be, and looking at her now, you would never, ever believe it, but at some point, 250 pounds.
250 pounds, size 26.
Wow.
I stopped getting on the scale when I reached 250.
Is that it? So walk us through that a little bit. What was obviously that's a lot of years. You were very hardworking, focused on the career down there. Health, nutrition maybe wasn't exactly the focus point.
Right.
And then what made it the focus point? What was okay, this is the moment?
Well, after my second child, I was managing, of course, a business and two little ones, and I was the type of mom that I didn't want to have a nanny taking care of my kids. I wanted to do it all myself.
Yeah,
I didn't want to ask anybody for help. So what I was doing is the stresses of being a mother with two little ones, and when you have a marriage and you're running a business,
of course,
what
multiple.
I was doing is during the day I'd be fine, like I wouldn't have time to eat, but at night to manage my stress, I would stress eat.
Okay.
So I would just eat once the kids were put away, once the house was clean, the food was prepared, I would just stress eat, and that's how I coped with it for many years.
Yeah, and that was an overindulgence with the eating, or was it the quality of the foods?
It was the quality. It was just, how when you're making things for the kids, you just kind of clean up their plates as you go along, and I just never put the focus on myself.
Right.
It was always for others.
Others, yeah.
And that's what happened. And when I said I stopped getting on the scale at 250 pounds, is that I was doing really well in my business. I mean, getting all types of accolades.
Right.
So I was using the time I could have taken care of myself, actually putting that time into my business. So I got invited to the New York Stock Exchange to ring the bell because I did really well that year as one of the top agents in State Farm. So I went shopping for an outfit. All right? So you know what they make when you're size 26? They make suits or dresses that are black and white. So I felt like Shamu inside the dressing room.
That's awesome.
And when I remember trying one after the other black and white outfits on, I go, you know what? I can't do this anymore. It's not me. It's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's interesting too. I feel like a lot of people that really get focused in on their careers, it just kind of falls to the wayside. There's so much focus going to others. There's so much focus that, you're doing the family, you're balancing obviously amazing achievements in the careers. And all of a sudden you look back and you go, holy smokes, I've kind of overlooked diet. I've overlooked taking care of myself because I've run that. So when you first came into CrossFit, let's just start from what we kind of took over and stuff like that. Right. How far along were you in the journey for weight loss then, and about what weight were you at then?
I was probably 70 to 80 pounds lower.
Yeah.
And just with moderate exercise and just eating right and so forth, and I made that change.
Yeah.
And then I was coming into CrossFit, early morning. I would come in because I wasn't sleeping at all, so I was just coming into the early morning classes. But then after that, everything just stopped. The needle wasn't moving no matter what I was doing.
Right. So looking back at it, it's like the first initial kind of weight came off just through habits and change of diet and stuff like that, and just bringing that into the spotlight and taking care of yourself. And then all of a sudden we just kind of hit the roadblock, right? We plateaued big time.
Right.
And I will vouch for her, seeing her work out majority of the time. She was hitting the classes hard. There was no lack of effort. It wasn't like she was just going through the motions. We knew the diet was in check, right? Because you had done the other stuff. Also, too, bouncing back and forth with different things. I know you're very aware of what you eat. You talk about it and the changes you make. So when you started, what was kind of the first, like, what was the first thought when this wasn't coming out? Was it, I'm not doing enough? Do I need to double down? Or was it seek help? Or what was...
And you know what? It was the last challenge we had.
Okay.
In that time, I forgot the year it was.
Yeah, that was, I think, 2 years ago. No, 1 year ago.
All right.
No, 2 years. 2 years ago. That's what it was. 2 years ago. Yeah, that's what it was.
So during that time, that challenge was fantastic. You know, we were committed into working out. I found out about the Fit app where you log in all your food, and I learned about macros and all those things.
Yeah, diet tracking.
So I was learning about that, water intake. I had accountability because I had a wonderful coach. We were all working on this together. And I was working out during the day. After 8 o'clock, I would go on a hike with another member, Elizabeth. We'd go on a hike. And then in the evening, I'd go do hot yoga. So I figured I'd melt the fat away.
Right.
So I was
melt it off.
So I was doing all those things, but the scale wasn't really moving as much as it should.
Yeah.
And so I was taking care of myself in the sense that I was getting, chiropractic treatment done, my massages done, because I'm 47.
Right.
I'm not a young pup here.
Yeah.
I'm a little slower to get around. And my chiropractor said that, Rachel, I see you in here and you just came back. Either you're coming back from working out or you're going out working out again.
Right.
And it doesn't, the scale's not moving, right? And I go, it's not. And that's when I started realizing that something's not right with me.
Right, something else is up. And for me on the other side too, you're hearing that from the chiropractor. You're also hearing it from us. You've reached out, hey, I'm trying to lose this last bit. Like it seems so hard for these last 30 pounds that I wanted to come off, and blah 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 blah. And so we went to the chiropractor. He said you were doing everything right. You're coming here to the coaches. We're saying you're doing everything right.
Right.
So then what was the next step from that?
The next step, then I started the resources here.
Right.
With the members and kind of sharing my story with other people who were doing the challenge. I go, something's not right with me. So I got sent to very different doctors.
Yeah.
So I would go to the doctors and they do it like a gut test on me.
Right.
We blood, urine, every type of test you can possibly do, and they figured out. I found out I couldn't eat certain things because of gluten.
Intolerance of different foods.
Exactly.
And stuff. Yeah.
So all those tests reveal that. Okay, so I moved away from my diet, and of course I can't eat a lot of meat and sweet potatoes like the 20-year-old CrossFitters do. I can't do that, right?
Yeah.
So I edited up my diet a little bit more, and I'm thinking, okay, now I'm going to see some change. Saw a little bit, but still not enough.
Yeah.
So going back, one of my friends told me, who's also another CrossFitter from another gym, she goes, have you ever had your metabolism tested? I go, no. And this is after going from all the doctors doing blood work. They checked my thyroid. They checked, all the other women's
So yeah,
stuff,
you've already been through the whole 9 yards with it. Every checkup, all the doctors.
Every doctor. I would go out of the network. When I go my trips to India, I would see holistic medicine. I would see a homeopathic specialist because I knew I'm not a big drinker.
Right.
A glass of champagne and I'm done for the week.
Right.
I'm not a smoker. I don't live a lifestyle that would cause me to believe I'm doing something wrong or I need to change something, more, and that I'm not living a clean life. Right?
You were checking all the boxes of doing everything right, just something was still off.
Right, so she sent me over to DexaFit, it's located in San Carlos, and did my metabolism test, and it said that my metabolism was extremely low, and if I reduced my calorie intake, continued to work out as I did, it should jumpstart my metabolism.
Right.
So I remember when I got that tested, it came running into the gym. I'm showing you. I'm handing out copies.
Right. Getting the word out. This was the revelation that did it.
And I figured somebody was going to figure out how to help me. And even when I reduced my calorie intake and my food, because of all the tests that I couldn't eat certain amounts of food, it still didn't do anything. Right.
Yeah. So then we're at the point, and I want to point out one thing here too. This is why I thought this was a huge, valuable piece of it, was because the road to commitment, right? Like at no point was it like, oh, screw it, this just isn't me. There was always something like, I'm seeking the answer, right? Like every time we ran into an obstacle, every time we hit a roadblock, so to speak, where we felt like there was a dead end, you kept pushing it forward, and obviously that shows success in your career, right? Success in your family. You have 2 wonderful girls. So that's just a habitual thing of you. But I really want people to take away from it, because sometimes people hit those obstacles or they start making those excuses and they're just like, I'm done. This is my body type. I'm going to go back. And you really kept pushing the hard road. So we put the diet further in check with the MyFitPal. We did it by, going through the metabolism and try to jumpstart the metabolism. So after that, we had a little bit of gain, and then it kind of hit the roadblock again.
Yes.
So, okay, so now we're pushing through another obstacle. Where was the road now? Where is it leading us?
Okay, so I'm still carrying like 20 copies of my blood work and metabolism test.
Yeah,
right?
on deck.
It's ready. So I go to an Indian party, and there's a lot of doctors you find at Indian parties.
Right. Yeah.
You're handing out those forms.
Yeah.
Who knows? Where can I go? Where
Right.
can I go? So one of my friends, who's also a doctor at Kaiser, told me, you got to see this doctor who's a hormone specialist, Dr. Kennedy, and he's located in Danville. And I just thought, hormone, oh, okay. And she goes, just go check him out. So before I saw Dr. Kennedy, so I looked him up. Of course, you're looking it up.
Oh, yeah.
And
Doing your research.
You do research, right?
Yeah,
so I'm looking
yeah.
at all the symptoms, and it said all the symptoms for hormonal imbalances for women that we go through was, insomnia, you're constantly fatigued, you're not thinking straight, you're lethargic. I mean, all these things were coming into play. The biggest thing I noticed was that, Matt, for the past 7 years, I haven't been a sound sleeper. I've been surviving anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of sleep a day.
Wow.
In dealing with insomnia. So I was like blown away when I saw the insomnia portion. So I made an appointment and saw him, and I took my bag full of all the photocopies. I'm Doctor, I've
got the research.
I've done all these tests. He goes, you know what? Let's just do a more intensive blood work, and let's see what that reveals. And so he did the blood work. It came back, and it's $150 for the blood work. A week later, it came back. He goes, you know what? How are you feeling? And I told him all those things like I just described to you.
Yeah.
And I go, the biggest thing is like, I'm not losing weight.
Right.
I'm doing everything right. And if somebody else tells it, you just need to take it easy, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Right. Yeah. I'm not taking it easy. I'm seeking the answer to this problem.
Right,
yeah,
right. And
absolutely.
I can't lounge around all day trying to take it easy. I got things to do, right?
Absolutely.
So he goes, you're not crazy. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, finally. Validation.
Validation.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what? Women have testosterone levels. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I'm just a gal trying to get healthy.
That's it.
That's my focus. So he goes, testosterone level for a 47-year-old premenopausal should be, that's way too much information, I know, but it should be anywhere from 250 to 300. I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. I have no medical knowledge.
Right.
And I go, so where am I? He goes, you're 15.
Okay.
I'm like,
way low.
Right?
Yeah.
Way low. And he goes, that's why you have insomnia, you're chronically fatigued, you have no energy, you're lethargic. I mean, everything he described in my 7 years of suffering, he hit it right on the nail.
Yeah.
And I go, what do I have to do? And he goes, you have to get some hormonal replacements. It's really easy to do. It's natural, and you can read up on it. I go, I read up on it.
Yeah.
Can you do it now?
Yeah. Check, we got it on the same page.
And I kind of threw the credit card at him. I don't care how much it costs.
At this point, an answer is great. Yeah.
Right. So it's just a little incision they do. They put the little pellets in, and I kid you not, within a month, I started sleeping better.
Yeah.
Surviving on 2 to 4 hours of sleep for the past 7 years.
That's amazing you did that, by the way.
Yeah.
You should be up for like science research on how you even did that.
But ask Ashish, I was hella busy.
Yeah, it's like, I know what she did. She took it out on me.
I don't know how I survived, but it did. But I started sleeping better, and I wasn't working out as much because he goes, let your hormones balance out. Sleep, if that's what it means. If you can't go to your 5:30 CrossFit class,
right,
sleep.
Yeah.
So I slept, and I was working out. Maybe I took a month off, and I came back, and I was doing maybe 2-3 workouts a week. My food was right on point. I didn't change anything about my food, and within a month or two, I would say 2.5 months, I dropped like 25 pounds.
Wow. And so as soon as those hormones balanced out, just recap here, it's like as soon as the hormones balance out, the sleep comes into check, right? Because your body's back at a nice neutral state. As soon as the sleep comes into check, all of a sudden, all these other things fall into line, and it just turned out to be a hormonal imbalance. And no diet, no exercise would fix that hormonal imbalance.
Exactly.
And it's amazing too, because then once the sleep comes into check, everything else moved. You look fantastic now. The story is just awesome to hear, especially because it's very unique. Like a lot of people, like I said, would have just given up on it in different things, and now we have another resource, another thing like, hey, you might want to check the hormone imbalance and different things, especially if you're working as hard as you were,
right.
Because obviously there should have been some sort of result there. So you got that figured out. We got the hormone balance, and now things are going great, right? How are things now?
Things are going great. I'm sleeping better. I'm nicer to Ashish.
Ashish, thank the doctor.
Yes,
it's good.
yes.
That's
I think
awesome.
Our marriage will last past the 18 years. But I'm feeling so much better because here's my thing. If you're putting that much effort into something, I didn't want to walk the Victoria's Secret's ramp, all right? That wasn't my intention. That bus has long gone. Right? But I wanted to be just healthy and strong and do things with my daughters.
Right.
As just be a mom that they didn't see just hanging out at the house, but actually going out there and living life.
Right, being active and living with them.
And healthy. And it's just changed the way I feel, and which is so important because, when you're building... You're going to college when you're young, you're investing in yourself and you want to start a business. You've done all the things right. You've really worked hard and making good choices, and you've built, your little empire. You want to have the health to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though I had all of those things, and if you see me on Facebook, you probably see, I do a lot of things.
Right.
It's just I wasn't feeling good.
Right. Right.
I wasn't enjoying the moment.
And if it's the quality of life isn't there with you and you're not able to be present, you have other things, it just takes away so much of it, and it takes away that other hard work. And your story is just awesome to share. I hope people get something out of it, which is the biggest message I like to send across is like keep fighting, keep working, but stay within those habits. Don't make the excuses. Don't blame these arbitrary things like, oh, it's my genetics. You know how easy it would have been for you to say, this is my body type and apparently this is how I have to live, right? But you didn't, and you kept pushing through, and it was amazing. And I just really want to share the story with everybody else because hard work always pays, even in the darkest of times, right?
Absolutely. And
staying true to the path. Okay, so to wrap this thing up, we'll just go through a few little quick kind of on the spot question answer. Nothing crazy. Don't freak out. So the question I have is, what was one of the things, if you had to just boil it down to one, when you woke up and you were off that 2 hours sleep and the day was hitting you hard and things felt kind of hopeless and you were just kind of like, my gosh, I got to push through it again. What was one thing that just kind of helped you either snap out of that or helped you get back on track? If you could boil it down to one thing.
It's my family.
The family.
Always is the family.
Yeah.
Because even though if you sometimes don't want to do it for yourself, Ashim and Ashna didn't choose to come into this world. Ashish and I brought them into this world.
Right.
So I don't want them to suffer just because of the choices we make.
Right. That's awesome. Great answer. And then, so the other ones, what, as far as like, did you have to make any adjustments in your professional career or with the family? Like when you started focusing more on yourself, did other areas slip, or was it just about balancing it out?
It was just about balancing out. When you own a business, and you know this, you have, taxes to deal with, employees to deal with,
right.
and you're working late nights and you're working weekends. People don't see what it takes to actually run a business. So I had to redefine what success meant to me, which is hard for me if I'm goal-oriented. If I'm out 1 year ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange and next year I don't place, you know what? I had to really look at myself and says, you know what? All that's not going to mean anything if I don't have my health.
Right, absolutely. If you can't enjoy it at the end with that quality life, just
so
like you said.
It was a struggle. It wasn't easy. It was a very hard thing for me to redefine what success meant.
Wow, that's good, and that's great, and that's almost piggybacks off what we had talked about in episode 2. We're talking about reverse engineering the goal from the athlete or from the person, right? So what you're talking about is defining success, because once we have that definition, we have our map to follow. Just like once we have the goal of the program or the goal of the life goal or anything, once you define it, there's a clear path to it. And it's awesome to see you had traveled that path and came out fantastic there. And you're an inspiration to all of us, Rachel. You really are. And it's great that we had you on. So one last rapid fire. We'll go through a couple of them here. So favorite food, if you had to boil it down. Tacos, without a question. Favorite place to travel?
Oh.
She's an avid traveler.
I love to travel. I think my favorite place is Thailand.
Thailand.
Yes.
Awesome.
The weather's beautiful. The people are beautiful. Everything about that country is amazing.
That's awesome. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show?
If you watch TV as much.
I do. I watched I watch The Real Housewives.
Okay.
And the reason I watch that, I watch it with Ashish. I go, when he watches it, I go, I am so normal. I'm so lucky to have you.
That's funny. I call that the Screaming Ladies show. Grace, I'm like, it's Screaming Ladies, whether they're in a restaurant or whether they're with their husbands or whether they're on a boat. It's just a Screaming Ladies show. So you're not alone in that. Favorite book or book that has most given you the most value recently or just in your life?
You know what? I just read a lot of self-help books.
Self-help?
Yeah, about leadership, and John Maxwell is one of my favorites.
John Maxwell's good?
Yes.
5 Levels of Leadership is a great book. All right, awesome. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Rachel, for being the first guest on the show. You did a fantastic job, and you're an inspiration to us all, and we are very lucky to have you as part of the community.
Thank you, Matt. Love you all.
And we're out.